Now to dive in, I want to start with a couple of pages here. And for this here, I also got my terminal open. First of all, we need to install all dependencies though with npm install, and then we can use npm run dev. And that will start the development server, but of course at the moment I got no pages. And hence we should add some pages. And for this demo application, for this project which we're building here, we will need 3 pages. A starting page, which shows a list of all meetups. Then the new meetup page, which allows us to add a new meetup. And then the meetup detail page, which allows us to show the details for a selected meetup. And hence here in the pages folder, I'll start with the starting page with index.js directly in the pages folder, because you learned that index is this special file name which will be loaded for just /nothing in the given subfolder. And here we're not in a subfolder at all, so index.js will be loaded for ourdomain.com/nothing. But then we got more pages, for example, a page for adding a new meetup. And hence we could add a new meetup.js file, which then would be loaded for our domain/new meetup. And you did learn over the last minutes that we also have an alternative here. We could also create a new meetup folder instead of the file, move the file in there, and then rename it to index.js. And that would then be loaded in exactly the same way. It's up to you which approach you prefer. You need that subfolder approach if you need nested routes, but we will not have any nested routes here. So in this case, it's really up to you. And I will go for this subfolder approach here. But again, it's your choice. And then we also need this detail page, which we load if a specific meetup was clicked and we want to view the details of that meetup. And for this, we need a dynamic page because, of course, we'll have multiple meetups with different IDs, and the ID should be part of the URL. And then when we load the page, we want to use that ID to fetch and display the appropriate data. And we also learned how this worked. We can create a dynamic page with square brackets and then .js, and then simply use any identifier name of our choice between the square brackets. For example, meetup ID. And here we could also use the subfolder approach. It also is available for dynamic pages. We could also create a folder named meetup ID between square brackets and move that file in there and then name it index.js. And that also works. That's something we haven't seen before, and that's why I'm showing it to you here, because it is also important to be aware of the fact that you can also have dynamic folder names here and then create dynamic nested pages if you need them, or like in this case, one single dynamic page. And with that, we got the page structure we want with those 3 pages, and hence we can now get started working on those pages. We can fill those components with some life, and then also step by step add data fetching and learn how Next.js helps us with that.